The notion of natural equality is one of the most undermining, pernicious delusions that has ever afflicted Western thinking. It is merely a figment of the imagination, for nature knows no equality. The most cursory examination of natural phenomena reveals the presence of an intrepid law of inequality, just as universal and inflexible as the law of gravitation. The evolution of life is the most striking instance of this fundamental truth, it being a process of increasing differentiation from the simple to the complex. And the evolutionary process itself is not simply quantitative, it is also qualitative, where successive differentiation invariably engenders increasing inequality. Not only are the various forms of life profoundly unequal in their complexity and capacity, but the individual members within each grouping are similarly differentiated among themselves. Thus, no two men are ever precisely alike. Moreover, individual inequalities steadily increase as we ascend the civilizational scale. The innate differences between members of a low-grade savage tribe are as nothing compared with the abyss sundering the idiot and the genius who coexist in a high-grade society. In this, then, we observe that human evolution also means a process of ever-growing inequality. There is, in fact, no such word as equality in nature's lexicon, for, with an ever-extending, uneven hand, she distributes health, beauty, vigor, intelligence, spirit, and all those qualities which confer on their possessors superiority over their own kind. As to both its antiquity and persistency, there can be no doubt. The slogan of equality was raised far back in the remote past, yet, instead of lessening, has never been more loudly trumpeted than today. It is a curious fact that just when the advancement of knowledge and the increasing complexity of civilization have enhanced individual differences and rendered superior capacity supremely important, the liberal socialist cry for equality should have become fiercer than ever before, while embodying every sort of leveling doctrine possible. Obviously, this requires a careful examination. Its postulations having no observable evidence in nature, IQ graphs, comparative cultural achievements, and so on, the idea must therefore spring primarily from an emotive reasoning, however much it rationalizes itself through clever argumentation. Being fundamentally emotional, it is impervious to logic, and whenever confronted by hard fact, it takes refuge in mystic faith. For all leveling doctrines, including the various brands of modern socialism, are, in the final analysis, not intellectual movements, but rather religious cults, strikingly shown in the fanaticism of the Paris Commune, the Bolshevik genocides in Russia, and at present in the West's democratized, progressive social tyranny. Furthermore, over the past 30 years, biology and genetic research have refuted practically all of the intellectual arguments on which the doctrine of equality relies, but this has yet to destroy the ideology. Its devoted followers either choose to ignore the science or swear to kill their opponents using whatever Marxist rhetoric of the day is in vogue, whether it be the faulty postmodern Christian dogma of the equal measure of all souls, human Locke's notion of a blank human slate, the Lamarckian dialectic of social conditioning, or the communist principle of collective economic equivalence. All of these systems are united by a common belief in the supreme importance of the environment, not nature, and therefore ignore heredity altogether. At present, the local civilizations of the past are merging into a monolithic world culture, one that has unanimously embraced the equalist philosophy of the global technicians, and this is quickly manifesting into an immense genetic engineering project primarily led by a hostile liberal elite who holds power in the West. At their disposal is a heavily armed panoptic police state and an indoctrinated public whose gods have been replaced by the religion of equalism. Among this group is a vast army of saboteurs and traitors who are unadaptable, envious, discontented, but filled with an instinctive hatred for European cultures and their historical civilization. Therefore, under these circumstances, we must recognize the present situation as this racially oppressive political class does, that this is a holy war where souls, entire peoples, and even Western civilization itself will either survive the upcoming apotheosis or become utterly obliterated from the living human record forever.